Greetings and welcome to PJ's Kitchen. My name is Peter James from peterjamesx.com with the Babylon Report. Today we are looking at the subject Eden and the plan of God. When you think of the Garden of Eden, what do you think about? I asked several people, and of course they all said exactly what I thought they would say. They thought that it was a beautiful garden that had been personally made by God himself, and there was Adam, a handsome man, Eve, a handsome woman, in these beautiful surroundings with animals in perfect condition, birds and fish and streams, an idyllic situation. And they just were told, well, it's up to you. You have got dominion over everything. Now go and have lots of children. That is all true. But is that all that there is to what we are told in the first chapters of Genesis? Well, there's a lot more to it than that. If we look, let us start at the very beginning and look at Genesis chapter 1 and verse 5. Well, we start in verse 3. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. If we go down to the third day, in verse 14, still chapter 1, it says, "And God said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years." So if we stay just with these two verses, what we actually see is that the days are appointed seasons, the cycles of the moon are appointed seasons, the weekly Sabbaths are appointed seasons, and the annual Sabbaths are appointed seasons. That is what verse 14 is telling us. It's talking about signs and for seasons. Signs tell us about something or someone that is to come. Something that is going to happen. You see it on the road, bumps ahead, or reduced speed ahead, or left turn, or whatever. Now this word season, you find it in the Bible 4 times, and it refers to appointed seasons. So the seasons were not random, they were appointed. In Numbers 9 and verse 3 it says, "In the 14th day of this month, and at even you shall keep in his appointed season." So we're talking about the Passover, and it talks about an appointed season. The Passover is a festival. And in Numbers 9 and 7 it says, "And those men said unto him, We are defiled by the dead body of a man, wherefore are we kept back, that we may not offer an offering of the Lord in his appointed season among the children of Israel." In Exodus 13 and verse 10 it says, referring to the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is in verse 6, it says, "7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and in the 7th day shall be a feast to the Lord. Thou shalt therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year." And in Numbers chapter 9 and verse 2, "Let the children of Israel also keep the Passover at his appointed season." And in Numbers 28:2, command the children of Israel, and say unto them, my offering and my bread for my sacrifices made by fire for a sweet savour unto me, shall ye observe to offer unto me in their due season. And the last scripture, Deuteronomy 16 and verse 6, but at the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. So when we looked at verse 5 and verse 14, we're seeing about day and night being defined. We're seeing there are going to be signs in the heavens. There are going to be seasons for days and for years. Now, at the time of Adam and Eve, there were no books. But we are told here that all these things, the lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, were to be for signs. What was actually done is in the heavens, out of touch and the reach of man, God put his plan there for Adam and Eve to see. His entire plan was there. It is still there. But unfortunately, it's been perverted now into astrology. But everything in the sky, in the heavens, has a purpose. There's nothing by chance. You know, if you look at a map of the stars, you will see them saying, this is Scorpio, and it's got this sign around it, and this is Pisces, and it's got a fish, and this is whatever it is. And you have to admit that it is quite impossible to see how these three little points of light can be formed into a bear and things like that. However, that is what has happened. So the point is that in the heavens was God's plan. And instead of just thinking that Adam and Eve were frolicking around in the garden, we have to realize they were born big. They had to be taught everything. They knew nothing, in spite of their intelligence. So God did not just say, okay, poop, here's Adam. Adam, go to sleep, take her about. There's Eve. Now, okay, you've got charge of everything. Get on with it. I'll see you around at some point. God didn't do anything of the sort. He taught his new creation. He taught them about the signs. He taught them about the seasons. He taught them about reproduction. He taught them everything that they needed to know in order to live an enjoyable life right there in Eden. Eden was a very special place.